Yo, bars are sharper than guillotines, crafted from a black chip, now drag is my inner being. Words are like a hearse, and with this verse I will kill your dreams. Your bones I make a throne and take a clone just to intervene. Cause only me could ever see and match my ability. My artillery will lyrically deplete your agility. Split the seas, the rivers be compatible with the trinity. Spreading gold with killer metaphors and deadly soliloquies. The return of the catastrophe, casually crack anatomy. A bad MC's a liquefied and thoughts to form a battery.
Hi, I'm Sins from E2WMag.com, and I'm here with Chris Rivers.
Yes.
The son of the legendary Big Pun. So we're gonna get to know him, ask him a couple of questions.
Yes.
From social media, I keep up with you, I follow you.
Awesome.
It looks like you're really busy.
Yeah. I mean, or at least I appear to be. Yeah.
So what are you up to? What's going on?
Right now, well, the tape just came out on June 2nd. It was Wonderland of Misery 2. It's on free download on dadpiff.com. Anyone can get it. And the first tape as well, so that came out. So we got a lot of collateral stuff from that, like shows. I went on a Sons of Legend tour, and just working on a lot of new music. Yeah.
Your sound.
Yeah.
Does it by any chance bother you when they compare you to your dad, or does that make you feel good?
Kind of neither. I mean, first it bothered me, then then it made me feel good sometimes, and now it doesn't, like, almost doesn't matter in a sense. Like, it's an honor to be compared to someone so awesome at what they did, especially when I'm doing the same thing. But the only time it does bother me is when people think that I'm trying to sound like him. That misinterpretation of what I'm trying to do is what bothers me, because I'm not trying. It's just the way I naturally sound, and of course I have lots of influences and stuff like that, but I'm just doing what I feel. And the closest person I would naturally be compared to genetically, it should be my father.
I myself, I lost a parent, and it was really hard. We all have our different ways of coping.
Yeah.
How did you cope growing up with the loss of your father?
Me as a person, I have a hard time living in the present, which is something that I really am trying to work on, like embracing the moment. So I think my lack of embracing the moment helped me a lot with coping with his death, because I was always thinking about what's next opposed to the pain that I'm currently going through. But you know what I'm saying, it was, I would say there was more so difficulties growing up without a father. Certain things you have to learn on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it be something simple as shaving or talking to a girl, or something that's complicated, like what am I doing with my life, or who am I? I immediately took the sense of trying to be independent while still learning, while observing other people. So I guess I made the best of it in a sense, but it was still it's still a heavy burden in a sense, where it did make a lot of things difficult. But I think it made me grow up faster, which I'm grateful, you know, for. But at the same time, it's like, if I did have a father, if I could choose to either be mature or happy, you know what I'm saying, one of those things, I would definitely choose the latter, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things.
So how long have you been rapping? When did you discover this talent?
Like 6 days ago. Nah, it was, I've always been writing like poetry and stuff as a child. I've always been musically inclined, I always loved music, but I didn't really take it seriously for like until about 3 years ago when I graduated high school. I was like, let me really focus on it, and at that point I started writing like every day and going to the studio and really recording. At first it was just putting out music on YouTube, and thank God for social media and the internet, and it definitely picked up. And as the fan base built and got bigger, like more things started to come, more opportunities opened up.
Are you signed anywhere?
No, I'm not signed to anyone. Independent right now. Just trying to, like you said, just keep putting stuff out and trying to see how far we could get. Because right now, if anyone offered me a deal, it would probably be a little undershot, considering that though we are making a lot of buzz and I am making a lot of noise, it's still not to the capacity where someone would give us something substantial to the point that we're looking for it. We got to make a little more noise until that happens.
Even though I'm doing this interview, I'm still a fan.
Oh, awesome.
So when I listen to your lyrics, something I picked up on, because I'm a geek, you use a lot of comic book characters in your, you know, like, so DC, Marvel?
Both. I mean, I grew up on both, definitely, and a lot of video games and sci-fi stuff. I definitely incorporate who I am in my rhymes, and that's the stuff I'm into or was into and still am, so you definitely find it in there, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You don't have many rappers, you know,
get
as detailed as you do with specific things. Like,
yeah, I mean, and it's for situations like this, when someone else, because because it's cool like to have masses of fans, and there's like different types of fans. It's like the fan that's like, oh yeah, I listen to them, and then it's like the one that's like, oh no, I really mess with them, and then it's like the diehards, and like that's how you get diehards, by those little specific things. It's like, yo, I play Yu-Gi-Oh too, like, and then like now you love me to death. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's one of those things.
How do you feel about how hip hop was back then while your father was on top, and how hip hop is today?
It's definitely diluted in a lot of aspects. I would say it changed or even evolved, arguably, and you know, some would say it's better or worse. I still feel like the golden era was around the time that my father was out, and it was a lot more content, lyricism. You could really separate who was whack and who wasn't, and the people who actually had skills were the ones that were succeeding. Due to the internet, though, it's awesome, the internet's factor, the impact that it had when anyone could get out now, and that's what the internet provided, but that's also the problem. Anyone can get out now, so now you're like competing with millions. As you know, everyone and their moms raps, apparently, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things, and it makes it more diluted in a sense. So back then, hip hop, I think it was more about the art, and today it's more about an image that you're trying to uphold. They're trying to fit a certain regime, and it kind of took away from the art factor of it. Today it's entirely bent on, can you capture the clubs and certain dynamics. If you want to make it to a certain, if you want to get played on the radio, if you want to do certain things.
It's almost like a trend.
Yeah,
it's
a trend, you know what I'm saying? And you constantly have to fluctuate or change up your style in order to fit the trend. And that's the people that got longevity, like Jay-Z or even the Drakes and stuff like that. And you can tell they're going to be around for a while because they always hit the current trends. You know what I'm saying? So I think my father had that. He had that perfect blend of commercial but raw, still hip hop, but still something the clubs could play, still something you could shoot someone in the face with. Like, you know what I'm saying? He had everything in one. So I'm trying to look for that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, being that you brought up your father, would there be maybe in the future any collaborations with any of his old teammates?
It's potential. There's no animosity, of course, towards anyone. But in the process of establishing your own name, there is realistically certain things that you have to stay away from, especially if we're trying to move away from that. So we got to get to the point where we're completely established before we start mixing in that. You know, right now we're working on Chris Rivers. You know what I'm saying?
Is there anybody you look forward to working with?
Oh yeah, big time. Like, of course, some of my favorites, like my top fives is like Eminem, my pops, Mos Def, Black Thought, Lupe Fiasco, like people like that. And of course, like I would like to work with anyone out now too as well, like, you know, the Kendricks and the Drakes and J. Cole's and stuff like that, because you're gonna get different feels for each one, and that's the art part of it. Like, you're always gonna get a different type of thing with a different artist, so it's awesome. So I'm willing and ready to work with you know, a bunch of people within the capacity of, you know, realism. You know what I'm saying?
There's been a lot of buzz on the internet that you're gonna be working with Eazy-E's son and Old Dirty Bastard's son. Is that true?
I already have. Yeah.
So it's true.
It happened. Yeah. Okay. We did a track, My Three Sons, which is currently out. I think the video's out as well. We shot it while on the Sons of Legends tour, which had them, JoJo Simmons, and Jam Master Jason also thingy. So it was one of those things, and he definitely cool cats. You know, Young Dirty's just as crazy as his pops. Definitely a cool dude. Easy's real laid back and stuff like that. Jam Master Jason, real cool dude. Like, they're all good people, good dudes trying to make it as well. And it's it already happened. I also worked with Ghostface Killer Son, Sun God. You know, stuff like that. Like, I worked with a few people.
Is there anybody that maybe you can name on who's going to be featured in any future projects or anything up and coming now?
To a degree. I mean, a lot of people that was on my other tapes, I'm definitely working a lot with, you know, shout out to Styles and them, you know, D-Block, The Locks, and I'm definitely working a lot with them. And right now we're making a lot of music, and we're working a lot, but we're putting down a lot of choruses and a lot of like verses on certain tracks, and who far as who's gonna be on them later, we don't know yet, but right now we're piecing together what's dope songs, and then after we're done and picking out who could be on what, then we'll go about that. So I'm not really sure entirely yet, but definitely some dope ones.
If you could say who Chris Rivers is to everyone who's a little uncertain, who is Chris Rivers?
In the deepest way, you mean? Or like on I mean, I'm a rapper, I guess. I'm also, I don't know if it was because of who my father was or I've grown up around it, but I never idolized another person, even famous or not. And I don't expect you to idolize me. I'm a human being just like you are, and a dragon. But that dragon also means you guys. But I'm just as flawed, and I'm just as uncapable and capable as anyone else and anyone watching. So if I could do this, then so can you. And if I can follow my dreams, then so can you. And I'm a big advocate of that. And I just try to be a good person. I always try to do what's right. And I also always follow what I believe in. So for anyone out there, just don't be a dick, be awesome, and follow your dreams. That's what I try to do. That's me in a nutshell.
How can we keep up with you? Any social media?
Yeah, definitely. Instagram is Dragons and Rivers, spelled out just like that, no spaces. Only Chris Rivers on Twitter, Chris Rivers for Facebook, and we have the official Chris Rivers website, which is chrisriversmusic.com. YouTube is Chris Rivers Music. So definitely find me on those. You can get everything on the website. And definitely get those tapes, Wonderland of Misery 1 and 2, for free download on datpiff.com, and the EP on iTunes, which is called The Good King.
Okay, so I hope everyone enjoyed that interview with Chris Rivers.
Yes.
It was a pleasure. I had a lot of fun.
It was awesome. Stay spidey.
Yes, it was. Trust me, I will.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep updated with my work, interviews, and such as this, it's sincephotographynyc.com, or you can go to E2WMag.com and check out all the work and all the updates. What about you? Anybody want to shout out? Anything?
I want to shout out Spider-Man. I also want to shout out E2W Magazine over here for the awesome interview. I want to shout out where we at right now, Bronx Inc. over here. That's where we at. You got to come here, get a dope tattoo. I want to shout out everyone that was affiliated with any projects that we did, all the artists out there, everyone that I'm coming for. Shout out to my Dragons. Dragons up. Chris Rivers.